Heck yes.
Yep. It's
Word.
it's going. It's going. Um. Also, I got the solo flawless duality done.
I saw that.
So
I'm not upset about it whatsoever. I
yeah.
haven't tried it again since I failed at that first time because I'm mad about it. You do Solar Titan?
Nope. Stay with Hunter.
No, Solar Hunter or what?
Yeah.
Or just
Yeah.
flipped it around? Okay.
Solo Hunter the entire time. Yeah.
Were you running like the throwing knife build with an exotic, or what were you doing?
No. No. I had Star Eater scales the entire time.
Star Eater's Blade Barrage, or
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
yeah,
should
I
have
can do some
switched.
damage.
Um. I think I probably should have done Golden Gun instead of Blade Barrage on the boss because the damage is so inconsistent. I think consistently
Mm,
the 3-shot would have been better.
okay,
But
like the 3 precision, right?
yeah, the 3 precision, yeah.
Okay. And what were you running like the same loadout the whole time, or what were you running?
Yeah, so first encounter is Succession, Callous Mini Tool, Lament. Second counter is Wither
Okay.
Horde, Callous Mini Tool, Eagle Edge Sword. So I did wherever the purple sword is with
Yeah.
Surrounded. And then Kydal, I did Wither Horde, Callous Mini Tool, Cataclysmic Bait to switch.
Okay. Okay.
So my Callous Mini Tool now is like like 70 something level or
Yeah.
something like that. Now it's dumb.
Yeah. Mine just hit like 32, and I don't even use it that much.
I think is I mean the lightweight frame and then throwing incandescent on stuff. I don't know. I've gone back and forth on that incandescent. I think because how many ads there is in duality, I'm okay with it. But
Yeah.
I might switch it depending on the way the future lays out. I don't know.
Yeah.
What would you switch it to?
Um, let me look at
I remember there being a couple of good options there instead of.
yeah.
Cataclysmic, I use 4 times a charm and or it's the enhanced
Focus Fury.
Focus Fury. There
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jared.
You're
It
welcome.
just pairs really nice together.
Yeah.
It does.
It has surrounded in that last column, which should work for the most part in like all content. So, but
Yeah. Throw a surrounded spec on that guy, baby. Why we
at
got
this
it.
point, I would just craft another one because
You can level it up.
I
Fast
should
enough.
probably just craft another one. But
Yeah, I got mine up to like level 40 for no freaking reason.
yep, yep.
Just because you're using it, man. That's it. Why do you think
Yeah,
my Osteostriga is so high?
right. I guess like my thing is kind of like at rank 30, I should have just crafted another one.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like I have like a couple other SMGs if I want to like not do incandescent that will fill the wall for the most part. So like the Unforgiven that you get from the duality that has demo and then adrenaline junkie. Or like just go back to funnel web because that trait's so good. So we have 2 more TWABs and then it's the showcase. So shouldn't they be like talking about some exotic tuning or something like that coming up?
I think so.
One would think. Who knows? All right, everybody have their squigglies.
Correct.
I squiggled earlier. I'm gonna double check. Squiggly. Yeah. Oh my god.
Squiggle, baby, squiggle, baby, squiggle, baby.
Squiggle, 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 squiggle. Yeah.
Everybody ready? Ready, go real fast.
Yeah, girl.
Clicking the button. Eyes up, Guardians. We are live for episode 72 of the Gilded Conqueror's Corner podcast. Today is Thursday, August the 4th, and I am the Destiny bad boy, NotRyanFox, here with my fire team, who all of you CCBs know by now, Jared.
We got some PvP playlist like updates kind of in this episode, and then a little bit of stuff that the community gets to vote for about exotics, and then your boy finally solo flawless duality, and Chad hasn't done yet, even though he is on the most busted PvE class. So I mean, what's up with that?
And the chronicler himself, who Jared just mentioned, Chadocero.
I was gonna say I feel personally attacked, but I am literally being personally attacked. I don't like that. I got my feelings hurt the first time, and I just haven't tried yet again. Okay, all right.
And remember, if you're watching this on YouTube, that you can take us on the road via Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast services. Make sure you subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, click the bell, turn on notifications, yada, yada, yada. I saw Mr. Beast hit 100 million subscribers. It'd be pretty cool if we were the next to hit 100 million subscribers. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Send us a bunch of friend requests and join the Discord server so we can play games together. We have been looking for a lot of spots being filled, and whether it be GMs or raids or anything, we'd love to help you if you've never completed one. I personally get a lot of enjoyment of helping people through content that they don't think they're able to do. Jared is going to tell us all about the DF Hippies TWAB this week, but before we get to that, we're going to listen to the intro music from everybody's favorite Link, who you can find on Twitter at LinkOfTimeG.
All right, everyone. Episode 72. Bungie is prepping for the showcase that is happening on August 23rd. That leads into next season, which would be season 18. So before that, these TWABs are not really going to have any major news, but we still got some changes that's going to be coming to PvP along the way for next season. So first I want to bring up is Iron Banner. So this past season, it's gone to an end. There was only 2 weeks of Iron Banner, and it's officially wrapped up. And so they're going to talk about changes for Iron Banner next season, and they're going to make a pretty good change. So we're going to get into it here. Is that after Rift, that was a pretty heavy objective-based game mode. Well, now they're going to go kind of the complete opposite and bring in kind of like a clash-based Iron Banner, but it's going to have some twists in it to make it feel more like Iron Banner. So the core vision started with a conversation like, what if when you went on kill streaks, Saladin shouted that he's on fire, and then you lit on fire and maybe you got a kill. Exactly. And just kind of that's how Eruption was burned. That's what it's going to be called. The new game type is going to be called Eruption. And if y'all played, what was that NBA game back in the day, Fox?
Listen, don't you start. It's NBA Jam, the greatest NBA game, arcade NBA game of all time. Maybe the greatest arcade, probably Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter 2. But the greatest sports arcade game of all time, NBA Jam.
How busted was it whenever you used Shaq and Kobe when they was on the Lakers together? It was just,
dude, it's older than that. It's older than that. You didn't get Shaq and Kobe.
What?
Back then. Yeah, I mean, it was before that. You would get like I always thought the best team was like Pippen and Horace Grant because Mike never led his likeness to be marked like trade Like he was trademarked. So like Mike Jordan wasn't in any NBA games. It wasn't until like after Mike that the Players Association stepped in, and all the players were in all the video games. But you know, it was like Penny and Shaq were two that were obviously really good, but definitely Larry Johnson and Muggsy Bogues. Those were always pretty popular, like the Hornets players, because you know Grandmama. But really, it was always the Bulls. Pippen and Ho Grant were the best, in my opinion.
So, bringing it back to Destiny here. So, Eruption is a class playlist, but with energy boost based on kill streaks. So, effectively, whenever they first started making those, called Streak Mayhem, before they changed the name to Eruption. And so, killing your opponents scores you 1 point, which is like a normal for Clash. And then after your second elimination or second assist also counts for this, you become surging. And when you're surging, you start to glow a little bit. Your kills will start generating 10% super energy and 20% for your grenade, melee, and class ability. And then you start scoring 3 points per kill. And then after your 5th kill without dying, you then become primed. And then you start glowing brightly. And then that's when your team goes on to a hunt. And everyone on your team gains 5% super and 10% grenade, melee, and class. But you gain 12% super and then also just 5% for your grenade, melee, and class per kill. And then you score 3 points per kill while this hunt is also going on. I guess that, to me, seems like that's a team aspect there. You're getting 3 points per kill, not just the person that is primed. So that sounds great, right? Well, Prime does have its setbacks a little bit here. So you have a 15-second timer on you. If your timer reaches 0, you erupt. So then you extinguish, and it resets your streak, and the hunt ends. Getting a kill resets the eruption's timer back to 15 seconds. So as long as you get a kill every 15 seconds, you keep going. But while that's going on, that is why you are primed. You are marked for both teams to clearly see who is primed. The other team gets 3 points if they kill you. So some choices there. And then also more than one player can be primed at a time. So basically, you know, the people that go on streaks are going to get some crazy amount of supers per game, a lot of grenades. I can always see the YouTube thumbnails. I got 10 supers off in this playlist doing this. Do this now to get 10 supers off in a game. And it's literally going to be get good.
Whatever it takes for gigs to come back, I'm fine with.
Yep.
I think if they get a 20 kill streak, do they just become a nuke and blow up and win? Or is that 20 or 40?
That's the wrong game, man.
Oh, sorry.
I think it was 25, but I think it's the wrong
25.
game.
Okay.
Dude, could you imagine, like, at 25 kill streak, the Cabal drop pods just start hammering the entire map?
It doesn't matter where
the Saladin just calls in an airstrike.
Wait, even if you're inside a building and it still falls through and hits you, that would be hilarious.
It'd be awesome.
All right, so they're tipping the scales completely the other way, not objective based. It's clearly just pure get kills, W key forward, keep getting kills and chaining those kills as much as possible here. Chad, how you feeling about this? You know, maybe you're gonna heat up with the fusion rifle, get those 2 kills off pretty quick.
I'm definitely gonna go for that nuke. Try to get there as fast as possible. But I mean, it's like Jared says all the time. People still don't really know what to do against fusion rifle players. I know that they are making some weapon changes next season, right? So I think specials are getting a little less ammo. I can't remember, but
it's still.
I remember
it's only one shot per brick.
Yeah, so it's like, but can't main fusions, but that's kind of not good to do anyway. But I mean, it's going to be a change. This is kind of setting a precedent where they're going to be giving us not a new, but like a new game mode per like each banner per season, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad it's changing already, even though like by the end of it, Rift was okay.
Yeah.
But seeing it change makes it more fresh. Besides it being Control for the last, what was it, 5 years?
I've definitely seen
So
that
it's
long.
like cool. They're refreshing it. They're doing some stuff. Like even if the first week it's like there's hiccups here and there, at least they're doing something.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to get my hands on it, see how it plays, and then we'll have our thoughts then.
How bad is it going to be to gild that title, you think?
Well, before we get into the numbers there, I mean, I only got one reset in, so I would have to reset again before I can start the gilding process.
I'm sorry for your loss, Jared.
Yeah, I did that first week because I knew I wasn't going to play the second one.
Yeah, I got the resets done in that first week because I had like that huge bonus or whatever, like the multiplicative bonus, but I didn't get 12 challenges completed. So I just had like 4 more challenges to get in the second Iron Banner this season.
So Iron Banner is also going to be a playlist that is not included in the soft SBMM next season. So you know that the Crucible gods are going to be showing up to that playlist because they can finally just be true connection, back to connection based in those lobbies. Unless they accidentally leave it turned on for the first week of Iron Banner, and then like 4 or 5 days into the week, they're like, "Oops, we accidentally had this turned on," and then they just leave it on. That's kind of how these things go a little bit.
That's never happened.
All right. Now talking about Iron Banner, Rift is not going away. It's still going to be in the game. They're tweaking overtime for next season, so that's actually just going to be added time to the clock to give teams some time to attempt to break the tie naturally before they do like the 3-bomb bum rush. We got some Rift stats though. So 1.5 million players played at least one match of Rift. I found that number a good number when I seen that. And did you have any initial reaction? Did you see like, wow, 1 million players play the game mode?
I thought it seemed low, but I mean, I would have thought more than 1.5 million players touched Iron Banner over the course of 2 weeks.
Well,
I can
right
remember
before,
the numbers for previously.
Yeah, right before Witch Queen, like they announced that they had 1 million people buy the expansion of Witch Queen. So
I must have missed that. Okay. If that's the case, then if that's the case, that's a good number. Okay. But I didn't realize. I just thought Destiny had more players than that, or more potential to have players than that. I didn't realize that's where we were.
Okay. 300,000 players did an Iron Banner reset. So that's about, if you look at that, that's like 20% of the players that played a match of Iron Banner end up doing a reset. And then 150,000 did 2 resets. So that's like 10% of the people that played Rift did 2 resets last season. There was another
season you would have done 2 resets would be to gild the title, right? There's no other reason
to complete the title. Yes, you didn't gild it this season.
Or yeah. Sorry, complete the title. You're right.
And then another player reset their rank 17 times with 55 hours of gameplay, and then there was another special player that played 133 hours of Rift. So Rift next season will be back for week 1, 8, and 14. And it would also be a selectable game type for private matches. The future of Rift.
Old clan night.
You know, I mean, that's something we haven't done, I feel like, since everybody was on Xbox. We just ran private matches.
There's a reason for that.
So the future of Rift, they're going to look at doing some experiments with it. Potentially a 3v3 playlist, and also doing some other smaller maps like you look at Wormhaven, and some asymmetrical types like Burnout, and then fixing some scenarios where one team can keep the spark away for longer than intended, And then so listen to the time that the black screen timer is. Like whenever somebody slams, it seems sometimes depending on the lobby, it takes forever for everybody to reset back to the sides, and and also to discourage overkill farming. So that does it for the PvP changes they have announced so far going into next season. Iron Banner looks good. Hopefully it's around for 3 weeks next season and not just the 2 to give people some more time to finish the title and then end up gilding it too next season. So you can hope for that. Next up, choosing an exotic ornament, and we got 3 options here, right? So we got Arbalest, Sweet Business, and Rat King are the 3 exotics. So there's an email going to be going out on August 16th. You get to click the email and vote for one of those 3 that you want to get a new ornament, and then after the one wins out, they'll be contacting some community artists to come up with ornament concepts. And then we get to vote again on which concept we want for the winning exotic. Now, I don't know why they chose these 3 weapons, and maybe y'all can help me with the rationale. Rat King has quite a bit of ornaments already. Sweet Business is
what, three ornaments is what Rat King has. I want to say.
Yeah, I think you're correct. Sweet Business is more of a meme weapon, or like, I got an Actium War Wig on my Titan. I'm going to throw Sweet Business on just to do something different. And Arbalest, I feel like it's gotten two new ornaments in like the past 2 or 3 seasons.
Yep. I mean, there are a couple of exotics that are left that only have 1 each. Like Le Monarch is one. It didn't have any, and then we did this, and now it has 1. But there are a couple that I think that have one ornament. And it's like you could have picked 3 of those. Yeah. Rat King is a cult classic. It's got a couple. Arbalest got 2 new ones recently because it's been seeing a bunch of use because of the anti-barrier. And Sweet Business is always just this is hilarious gun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they could have picked 3 better options for this, but I mean,
yeah. So, but these are the 3 that we got. So, Chad, what's your vote going to be?
The Titan in me wants to say Sweet Business.
Oh no, say Arbalest.
Arbalest, yeah. But here's the thing: like the newest ornament has that red dot sight, and it's awesome. It's crispy. So I'm like, I don't think even if it got a new ornament, I would use it over that unless it had a better sight.
Yeah, I was just using
Arbalest.
I was just using Arbalest again with the Grandmaster this week, Inverted Spire. So like that new ornament, that red dot, like Chad said, love it. So for me, my vote's going to be Sweet Business, because maybe if they put an ornament on it, they buff auto rifles for some reason at that point. You know, just like
my thing, like with Sweet Business, I remember there being like at least 1, maybe 2 already like decent ornaments for it. Like purely like the aesthetics of it please me. Yeah. So I can't imagine, like, I would rather choose something that, because like Arbalest, none of them look real good in my opinion. But scope aside, which really is the most important part, obviously, but I wish there was something that made it look a little cooler.
This is like so much like open in like the center of the gun where the frame is, that kind of just makes it unpleasing to me. Arbalest for the most part. If they could close that up, maybe just like take out the whole underbar or something, I think it would go a long way in making it look better. So watch the emails for that. Also, it is the last week of Solstice. Everything has to be completed by reset on August 9th. Event card challenges. Fox, what are the new currency they introduced where you can buy the cosmetics by doing challenges?
I believe they're event tickets, I want to say.
Yeah.
That's what they're called.
Yeah.
So there are, and they have it worked out to where you can't buy everything unless you get every single triumph. And getting all the triumphs gives you enough kindling in order to be able to refocus the armor like you want to, and it also gives you enough to buy all the stuff. with your wasted ass $10 that you spent to get the event card upgrade.
So,
Yep.
Fox, you're the one that bought the event card. The three of us. What grade?
Chad bought it too, I'm sure.
Who?
I'm sure Chad bought it as well.
Did you buy it, Chad?
I'm not gonna confirm or deny anything.
All right, listen. If you bought it, you need to give a grade for the event card then.
For the event card?
I give it a. So let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything that $10 got me other than the emote, the ghost shell, the sparrow, the entrance, and the shader?
Here, I'll give you my answer, and I'll give you my reason why, so that you can kind of get my idea. And I think because the event card, what it did is it added event tickets to each Triumph too, didn't it? So it made it faster for you to get all the stuff. So I'm gonna give it a D+. If for the only reason it is I completed my Titan, got all the Triumphs done, and then used those event tickets to get all the cosmetics, and I didn't have to touch my Warlock or my Hunter whatsoever. So it let me not have to play those.
If we wouldn't have bought it, would we have had, like, did we even have access?
There would have been less cards.
Those.
There would have been less tickets per thing, so you would have had to do a couple of characters to get.
Okay, then I was thinking. So, as somebody that, unless it is like, how we don't have an emote of Kevin Malone spilling a big ass cauldron of chili yet, like, but we get a crappy skateboard, like an in-place skateboard. Like, so unless it's like a killer emote, you're not gonna get me because I have 300 emotes, and like up arrow is raise the roof, down arrow is our little shoulder lean clan thing that we do, and then like left arrow is me raising the championship belt over my head, letting you know that that I'm the champ and you're not. And then the other one is the Titanic, where I hold you up over. So, like, those are locked. Like, it's gonna have to be something killer, and it's definitely not gonna be somebody pedaling around on a skateboard. So, $10 wasted, in my opinion. I give it. I guess like a D or a D minus. I'm not sure where the plus comes from. I did get a shader. I like collecting the shaders just in case like something looks good on a particular thing. That's the only thing saving it from being an F. I don't care about the sparrow that you get because I already have the always on time sparrow. I don't care about the ship because there are 50 ships that I like in place of it. The emote I will never use. So the shader is what stops it from being an F and makes it like a D minus. So next question. Will I buy the next one? Probably.
Yeah.
Just because like, you know, I'm going to have to do like a year of these before I get mad enough to not buy them anymore.
So if I'm Bungie listening to this, that means if they threw more shaders into the paywall, more likely to please the people then.
Am I the only one that feels that way about shaders? Like, do you guys share that sentiment or not?
Oh, I grab a shader every time I can for the exact reason that you said. Sometimes they look like you don't like it, but all of a sudden you put it on a specific gun and you're like, oh, that's awesome. Like, whoa.
Yep.
Yeah, to me, like the photo finish shader, to where it's the RGB one, depending on what it is, they should have put that behind a paywall. Like that is the most popular shader they put out into the game, like pretty recently, right? And it was free for Bite Dust.
Yeah.
Like shaders like that. If they put out, you know, a shader that's like really cool, like black felt, or like the matte.
How about
black,
just a nice Kentucky blue and white shader?
That too. Where like it'll throw in some like random yellow in somewhere.
Right.
You know? So like if they just put those in the store for like 500 silver, they'll go to make so much money if they just simply do amazing shaders that don't.
Dude, they sponsor like legit Kentucky blue and a white, like get that Pantone.
Yep.
And they put that in there, that is easily a $10, if not a $20
Yep.
silver purchase from me, like without hesitation, not like a single thought.
You know,
And that's just one shader.
and now they're with Sony, so I think there's some stuff that they can potentially do in the future that's like some stuff outside of the Destiny world. You know, you think about Spider-Man when you think about there's like maybe potentially some they're gonna make a Wolverine game too. Sony is so like there's a lot of those cosmetic outfits that they could pull it to the Destiny universe then and like make stupid money on in the Eververse.
Yep.
All right, well that brings us to our 3 likes and dislikes from the week. I'll go ahead and start it off first. My like this week, I have successfully completed the solo flawless duality. I mentioned that in the intro. I got it done. I got it done before Class C Restoration went away. So if anybody is like not knowing what to do the end of season, before Class C goes away, get that solo flawless dungeon done or any other dungeon you've been working on to try to get done. It has never been easier with Class C Restoration.
My like is that I was able to LFG a group together and get the Vow of the Disciple. What is it? Defenses down, I think, is the name of that challenge. Basically, the exhibition encounter, the one where you have like the the crystal and the Aegis shield and the Taken. That encounter, the third encounter from that raid, I got the challenge done on Master difficulty this past week. Thank you, Chad, for your service. And I got that done, so now I have all the challenges completed. Now I just have to do the stuff like stun the caretaker on every floor, one person. You can only do it once per person. So just I have like 2 or 3 little of those challenges left, and then I have that Disciple Slayer title.
And my like is that they're doing more community voting. While I think they could pick better exotics this time around, I am glad that they're doing more and more community engagement and decisions. This one's cool because they're having a community artist design the exotics based off of your choice. So they're doing more like, hey, you guys get to pick the trials map for the weekend. You guys get to do this. You guys get to do like I'm glad that that's happening more and more. It's really cool. I do like that a lot. As far as my dislike is that I have not completed my solo flawless duality. I'm making it a challenge to myself to get it done before I can finish playing Mass Effect, and I really want to do that. So I'm gonna try to get that hammered out this weekend so I can finish that story. But I'm very sad. I saw that emblem on Jared the other night, and I'm like, you poopy head. I'm not playing. I'm turning this off.
My dislike is that Solstice was pretty whack. I do think that the EAZ activity was improved, but everything surrounding that was I did not enjoy in the slightest. And then for them to come like if it's a 21-day event and they come like day 16 and they're like, oh, we added a catch-up mechanic on your other characters. Like, why even add it at that point? Like,
3 times multiplier.
You purposefully didn't add it. That way people would grind the game in order to get this white glow for all their classes. And then you wait till the end and they're like, oh, we decided to do this. And it just, if I was one of those people that played all 3 characters that way, I would have middle fingers up to Bungie after the fact they add that in. That is just pure, that's just Bungie at its worst. Every time, they do all this stuff and they get all this praise and, they act like they're for the player, but they don't do it until you're 80% of the way through the activity and everybody's already spent their time doing it. And then they're like, oh, sorry, here you go. And I would be infuriated if I was one of the players that already had all 3 characters completed.
Was that even mentioned in the known issues part of a previous TWAB? Like, I don't think it was.
We read the TWAB every week. I don't remember it being there. It seems like just something they added due to, They're listening to our feedback, so they're going to add that in.
People like me complained that they got rid of it because in the previous seasons they had the like
Exactly.
complete a character you get ×2, complete 2 characters you get ×3, and like that's
Yeah.
an incentive to play the other characters. But it's like it's like, okay, so you can add the ×3, huh? You can do that. So you could have done it the whole time.
Exactly. But they didn't because they wanted people engaged in the game because they can't make enough content, so they like cycle and treadmill the content that they do have to keep people us playing and playing and playing.
It made people like me less inclined. I'm like, oh, there's no multiplier, then I'm not doing my other 2 characters. And then they add this 3 times and I'm like, no, out of principle, I'm not doing my other 2 characters.
Right.
I'm not touching them.
But even though you're weak, you're still stronger than a lot of people. So like a lot of people are going to go rush to get that done. There's a guy in our clan, the player formerly known as Master Crane, who's like, oh, I ran Dares of Eternity and I got 80% done on my 3rd character. So I mean, it's obviously a hefty bonus multiplier, but that should have been there from the start. And the fact that it wasn't is just, every once in a while Bungie does like some shady stuff, and this is one of those times, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just went back on the 2 previous drops. They was not on there for known issues. So I feel like if they were going to change it, shouldn't this been like mentioned somewhere to the community before the hotfix that was dropped on Tuesday? All right, so my dislike is that for Storm Chaser, I continue to get well-rounded in the 3rd column. No matter what, different characters, different runs, that's all I can get in that 3rd column. And, I mean, that's what I have with Firing Line right now. It's the one I've hung on to for the most part. But, my gosh, Clown, Auto-Loading Holster, Rapid Hit, I don't think they exist in the 3rd column for me right now. I see them on other people's Storm Chasers. I know they're there, but I don't think it's in my loot pool. And whatever I've done to the RNG gods, that like they just pushed it all over the Chad and didn't leave like any scraps behind for me. I don't know what's happened.
Me either.
That
I know that feeling very well.
I don't know what I did.
My Storm Chaser is
Taking armaments
auto-vorpal.
doesn't exist.
Yeah, like that. That's a great role there, Fox. You know, I mean, just like half. I would be happy with half the perk selection in the 3rd column, but I continue to get well-rounded or turnabout. I think I got a turn. I finally got a turnabout one, and I was just like, well,
is
at least it wasn't
that makes you anything that makes you more upset than seeing a turnabout on any weapon.
Well-rounded.
Other than unrelenting. I hate that one too. Oh. I hate that perk.
That's what I use on my Callus Mini tool, actually, is unrelenting.
Yeah.
No. So, but yeah, that's my dislike for the week. So there you have it. This 6 things has gone on this week in game. No weapons breakdown for now. No big weapon changes that's been announced for next season. So nothing really going on there.
Takes us right to Gambling Corner, right?
Yes.
All right, so Gambling Corner was a little weak, or not a little weak, a little weird this week. Sorry, guys, I'm really tired. I've had 2 different vehicles break down in like the last 24 hours, so I am just exhausted at the moment. So we did miss the week prior, but this week the plan was whoever had the highest total stat roll with the Candescent armor from the Solstice event, without masterwork, without mods, whoever got the highest overall total would win. I had a chess piece on my Warlock. I got a 65 stat roll. I did this exactly 12 times because 12 times is what was needed to gild that title, which Jared talked about, that no matter what, I would gild the title. He was exactly correct. So I got a 65 stat roll, which was, and all my the other 11 were all like 62, maybe 163. But I was like, man, a 65, that's going to be pretty tough to beat. So I'm not going to worry too much about going back in there. And so Jared, what was your highest roll that you got?
I got a 67 checks piece. It seems to be that it's pretty good because I went ahead and masterworked it and I made it part of a build to where it dropped with 20 mobility and then 12 resilience. So that's kind of what I went for this season. A lot of mobility and resilience with this social storm because everything else I have on Hunter was mainly focused on mobility and recovery. So I just kind of just went in the other direction to get those kind of stats.
And I was missing some strength armor for my Titan because I want to have my hammer recharge faster when I accidentally throw it off the edge. And I rolled a 68 on a helmet.
Which is, for anybody that doesn't know, is the absolute max that you can get to roll on a legendary piece of armor. Is a 68. So he got that perfect distribution, the 34 on top and 34 underneath. I don't think we ever really like broke this down, but when you have an armor piece drop, you can only get a max of 34 stats of the mobility, resilience, recovery, and then 34 in the intellect, strength, and discipline combined. So those are two different just ways that like
it's like different pools
Yes.
that you can roll into.
Yep. So Chad again has gotten all the RNG this season, so I'm sure he better be enjoying it.
Yeah, you know, the guy that complains that he never gets anything.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you guys can't
It's got
complain
the
when you
best.
have had years of good RNG. All right, I get it for one
Yeah, but
season, and you guys are wham. Get out of here.
We're not and we're just saying, don't fall for the lies. So
For the
Chad
lies.
was the winner this week, which brings I saw this. I thought this was pretty interesting. Whenever I saw it, our totals for our Glimmer, the Destiny bad boy himself, NotRyanFox, is sitting in first place with 17,500 Glimmer. Chadocero is sitting in second place with 17,300 Glimmer. And Jared is sitting in third place with 13,700 Glimmer. The issue this week is I couldn't really come up with anything that we could do in order for this. So we're going to let it ride into next week, and I will take more time to consider. Whenever we get towards the end of a season and we don't have any events going on, it makes it a little bit difficult to come up with gambling corner things. So if you have any suggestions, I beg you to reach out on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. You can send us a message on Discord if you happen to run across, like if you saw us on Discord, run across us from there, let us know. But we're going to let it ride this week. Probably let it ride next week as well because I'm going to be on vacation in Walt Disney's world that he created in Orlando, Florida. So I will be off of the show next week. But if the other two guys want to do something, then that would be fine by me. But if not, give us something in 2 weeks. We'll come back and we'll have a good gambling corner segment.
All right, it's time for everybody's favorite time, the favorite part of the podcast, and that is the lore segment. The Chronicler, take it away.
All right, so we're diving right back into the book Voices of the Haunted, Chapter 5, Regrets. Your regrets will follow you, Empress. The words grate on Keitel like sand beneath her armor. The Vanguard could keep their wretched hive witchcraft. She had sworn to defeat the Nightmare of Gaul in single combat and cremate his memory on the pyre of victory. That choice had become yet another regret. A gravelly voice cuts from across the room. You called for me? Keitel turns to see Saladin Forge step into the bridge of her flagship. Her honor guard salutes and steps aside, making way for his approach, and she greets him with a nod. What are your thoughts on Eris Morn? Keitel asks him. Saladin raises an eyebrow. She endured horrors I can scarcely imagine, and she survived. She clawed her way out of that dark pit and back to the traveler. And what do you think about her use of hive sorcery? Keitel seethes. Many initially distrusted her for it, but were it not for her expertise, the last city would have fallen to the hive long ago, Saladin replies. That justifies consorting with such foul power. At first, Saladin says nothing. Instead, he turns his eyes to the viewport, to the Cabal fleet, arrayed in a blockade surrounding the Leviathan. None opposed allying with your empire more than I did. His voice is measured, almost introspective. I hated the Cabal. Now I serve on your war council. His eyes meet hers once again. Your soldiers wield the same weapons that slaughtered Guardians in the Red War, but that does not make you my enemy. Nor does hive magic make Eris yours. Keitel glances at her honor guard. When Saladin first joined her war council, her soldiers regarded him with equal parts suspicion and contempt. Now they show him the deference and respect befitting the title of Valis. Gaul would never condone it, but she is not Gaul, and that is something she does not regret. Open a channel to the helm, she orders. I have matters to discuss with the Vanguard. Chapter 6, Propaganda. It's a message from Callus, the deposed Cabal Emperor. My loyal subjects, the Guardians believe that they have defeated your glorious Emperor. How foolish. They look at the bodies left in their wake and assume victory, at the blood and oil that runs from the battlefields that they have ravaged and assumed territory conquered. They are like the old Cabal, sweeping over planets with no mind to the subjects that resist them. But I am not so cruel. The worlds I brought into our fold were showered in riches, given everything for the service as Cabal, as you are now, as you will be each time you serve me. Some of you were born here. You are young, blessed by my hand with life of celebrated battle and luxurious feasting. You fight with the veracity of veteran gladiators. You fight for your home, our home. I swell to call you my children. Others come to me from my traitor's daughter, who calls herself Empress, even while I still draw breath. Such arrogance, such disrespect. You've seen her tuskless plans fail Torabottle. You've watched her cast aside Cabal tradition to bow to the city and their light. She fights alongside the very soldiers who slaughter your brethren, while I bend them to my will. Who is the true leader? The answer is clear. If only she had followed me as you do. Finally, exalted most of all, you elite few who have stood with your emperor from the beginning, who grew fat with strength in exile, we are blood. As you have shed for me, I will shed for you. My flesh, my riches, my goblets of royal wine, they are yours. You are honored above all, and when our new Cabal stands before eternity, you will be among the first. I have heard the rumors whispered between you, my subjects, rumors fed to you by your enemies. Your hope that I have not been vanquished is well placed, for I am so very much alive. You fear that we are defeated, but nothing could be further from the truth. You wonder if I am a spirit, if I have become something beyond Cabal, if I have ascended like Acreus did when he cradled the sun in his grasp. Allow me to soothe your curiosity. Yes, I have become all you have imagined and so much more. The Guardians believe they hold victory, but soon they will see truth that they have ignored with such determination. This road is long, but it only has one end. They serve to set my plans solidly in the foundations of the universe. Their petty attacks, while tragic in their costs to my dear crew, cannot halt our purpose. So my soldiers, I leave you this task. Hold the Leviathan. Show no quarter to those who would walk the halls of your home as invaders. It is your final task before you uplift to sit beside me at the end. I do not promise that every Cabal standing on the Leviathan will survive this journey, but under my loving watch you will live and die in nothing less than greatness. What more can a warrior desire but an exciting life and good death? Have I not given you both? From the mouth of Amsat, I scribe to the unbound Emperor Callus, who none can contain. Rejoice, praise Callus who ascends, for he keeps you in his mind. then there you will never die. And the final chapter, 7 Legacy. Callus sees her as he remembers her. Young and precocious, energetic and ambitious, a mind full of dreams larger than his own. Her intensity intimidates him. She imagines accomplishments he dares not entertain for fear of failure. The nightmare knows this fear. Its adolescent eyes meet his and bore into his soul, laying all his embarrassments bare. It sees him for what he is, a deposed ruler, entombed alive in a golden sarcophagus and left to rot in exile, replaced by one more beloved than he. Always seeking the adoration of others, sees the nightmare wearing his daughter's face. Even from the witness. Silence, Callus grumbles. He instinctively reaches for his chalice, but he has long since left his side. It will abandon you, just like the Cabal, just like the Ghost Primus. The nightmare of Keitel smiles, sweet and crimson and full of hatred, just like your daughter. I said be silent, Callus sputters. His daughter's laughter is a knife between his ribs that has always been. No one hears your edicts. No one obeys. Her voice fills his chamber and seeps into every crevice of his mind. She is empress now, and you are nothing. I made her, he bellows. I, Callus, the greatest emperor since Acreus. All that comes before me is prelude. All that follows is my legacy. I am the sun itself. A dying sun for a dead world. A legacy of ashes soon to be swept away by the wind that is Keitel. She will never surpass me, he roars. She already has, the nightmare sings, and soon you will be forgotten. Callus's withered face contorts in anguish and angst. The nightmare is wrong, he thinks. Keitel will never be a greater leader. He will make sure of it. Even if all that exists must pay the price. So it's nice to see that he's still being haunted by that nightmare because Eris hasn't helped him. So the nightmare that you fight in duality is the one that's taunting him, just like it did to everybody in our seasonal storyline. So that's good. I kind of figured that from the dungeon, but it's nice to see that there's actually like full on. It is straight up just talking junk at him.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the dialogue that's been going on in the dungeon. It's good. Chad, at the last thing we get to do in the helm is listen to a message that Eris is sending to the Drifter. Correct? Is there any chance we're going to? Is that what next season's going to be about? Do you think that's the little note out there about setting this tone?
I mean, we're definitely gonna. The next 2 weeks are gonna be lots of speculation. Like they said, they're not gonna reveal anything until the day of, the 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
So we got 2 more shows that we're just gonna do straight up speculation based off of things we've heard on that radio.
Yeah.
One of them is definitely the conversation, or not the conversation, but basically the voice memo that she sends to the Drifter that we should not have intercepted.
No.
And just give our little ideas on things here and there. What we think's going on in the next season. I've given my idea on in last season that we should have another Splicer Siva season sometime this year, hopefully. But the more information we get, the more we can kind of narrow down what we hope is going to happen or what we think is going to be coming up. So we'll do that for the next 2 weeks. It's not going to be lore. It's going to be speculation and theories with evidence.
Okay. All right. That brings us to the mailbag. First question here is, if you could create a new weapon type for Lightfall, what would it be?
Ooh. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
A really hard one to kind of walk into.
Yeah. I was hoping the person that typed one in already had something.
Well, I have an idea, but I think it goes a little more with Arc than what's probably going on with Lightfall. But I would like a lightning rod to be a new weapon type, and it's going to be an exotic. It's probably going to be in a heavy slot, and I think it's only going to proc with arc subclass in my mind, and that is like, you get a melee kill with it, it charges it up, and then you could throw it, and like sticks to an area. You know how like Anarchy kind of like the bolt is, but it's more of a an area around where the spike goes into a wall, to the floor, and it slows enemies down and gets trapped in there, and they kind of shocks them a little bit. It's more of a like an area control. You could throw it at a spawn point, and like for the next 30 seconds, stuff's gonna get damaged coming out of there.
Anything from you, Ryan? Any ideas?
The best thing I could think of was like something that you could use, like kind of like a flamethrower that has like wither horde type things or something like that. That way you could like scorch an area of the ground. Or what would be cool is if like instead of just pure damage, they started going like you could affect the area. So say like, what if you could freeze an area or whatever, and then like if you're frozen, then your mobility drops. But it would be too random that it would like piss everybody off. Mm-hmm. But if your mobility dropped, and while you were on, say you're like Mr. Freeze from like Batman or whatever, right? And you like freeze down an area, and whenever you do so, people that are standing on that, they're so let's say like they're shivering, right? So they're cold, so their stability goes down, like then their gun, like stuff like that would be cool. I'm sure that the engine that they're running on doesn't allow for that, but that's kind of the stuff I think of.
Gotcha. Honestly, I'm still having a hard time thinking of something. The only thing I could think of is some kind of new weapon type based off of our new allies. So like a new heavy cabal style weapon, kind of like we've been getting like the heavy exotics, but like getting just a cabal, a new kind of cabal weapon. Maybe the dual cleavers from the gladiators, like just shink, and then obviously you can make different flavors of it. Would be
Scion
cool.
gun that pops enemies up from behind cover.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, like a charge shot that just goes along the ground and goes poof. But like the dual cleaver would be good because it'd be akimbo. So like instead of ADS, you'd have one is left and one is right. Just shing 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 shing.
I don't know what this means.
Yeah.
Sorry,
we
I'm talking for all the people that play on a controller. So you'd click. Sorry, left and right. So no ADS. So left click, right click.
I would really just like a Legend of Acurius 2.0 where it has like, a quarter of the distance that these legionaries have with their Legend of Acurius.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
But like the Cabal have given us some cool heavy, like they gave us a heavy shotgun and a heavy bow. Mm-hmm. So like they could make another heavy something else. We already have some snipers there, so we don't need a heavy scout. We have machine guns, so we don't need a heavy auto. A heavy hand cannon? Be weird.
Exotic, like
heavy.
It'd be weird.
Yeah,
but like as far as like a game
something.
type, just a weapon type, something from them that would be neat, I think. But I think I like the dual cleavers.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, question 2. Which subclass is your favorite? And then that's answered with your preferred class as well.
I think Stasis Warlock with the turrets is probably my favorite to play at the moment. Void Warlock is a very close second depending upon the day. I can alternate back and forth between the two because of that Void Warlock with Devour and stuff. It can be pretty fun.
I'm definitely a Voidy Titan, mainly because I like supporting my homies. So running GMs with the Ursas is just kind of my happy place. I mean, I like playing a more active position, so I can not Star Eaters, so I can falling star on bosses and stuff. If it's an easy GM, it's like, yeah, let's just try to out damage the boss into death. It's like, okay, yeah, I'll hit it with a Thunder Crash and hope seeing what happens next season. I'm hoping that those two will flip. I mean, obviously Solar shenanigans right now are amazing, but Solar's always been kind of like this is a fun subclass, for me. But Void mostly right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be Void Hunter for me. That's probably no doubt what I spent most of my time on. Like I remember whenever we first started Grandmasters, I had Dragon Shadow on, and then like
Oh yeah.
Omni on,
Yeah.
the Six Coyote. Like I had that's what I like
There
was
is.
that's what I had on a lot of time to just to save revives
Oh man.
and stuff.
Yep. Six Coyote got me my flawless pit.
Yeah. I mean, Void Hunter is just I'm so comfortable at it. I just the way I know that whenever I go in viz, I need to change the angle of when like enemies are shooting at me because they're still start shooting at where you was last at before you went invisible. It's just so natural at this point. That's just what I enjoy the most.
Next question: most useless weapon class. Hate to say it, probably sidearms.
I think there's one other guy that might agree with you right now.
Yeah, I'm almost there. I almost said that, and then I'm at this point. I'm like, rapid fire flame pulse rifles should go away, and they should just be auto rifles at that point. They just continuously fire. There's no breaks in the burst shot whatsoever. Like they're just useless, and they don't need to be in the game, so they can just move on.
Is somebody angry at what was it, Peace of Mind?
No. If you listened last week, you know what the triggers are, But I'm just saying, I've seen enough of Horror's Least already.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I can agree with both of those. I'm still very much like a glaives and need to find something special before I'm using them for things. Like I wouldn't rather grab a sidearm than a glaive, but like I guess like I'm not happily grabbing either of those two.
A glaive you can do some pretty cool stuff in Gambit with. That's the only saving grace for it, in my opinion, over the sidearm. Anybody have anything else to add on that? Or are we good for the next question?
Let's get it.
Next question: do you post on Twitter when you need to fill out your raids? Typically, no. Typically, we post in our clan Discord server, and then we'll post in like the Destiny 2 LFG or the Massive Breakdowns Discord server. Hit us up if you want to play with us. All you have to do is tweet at us, and we will most likely probably go out of our way to play with you. If not, we'll definitely hit you up whenever we need somebody to fill. At the moment, a lot of times we're one or two people short from doing a raid, so we're having to pick people up, just kind of randos. So that rando could be you.
All right, question 5. Are you ready for the new Game of Thrones spinoff?
Absolutely.
Yep. If this being ready means your HBO subscription is up to date, yeah, I'm ready. And the app's downloaded, then yeah.
Yeah. And the app's downloaded, and like which Sunday it starts. That's pretty much the thing. I have not watched like the 2-minute trailer.
Oh, okay.
I have watched the 30-second trailer. The 30-second trailer was like an ad in one of the YouTube videos I was watching. So I did watch that, but that's the most I want to watch. I kind of want to go in a little blind, personally, and kind of see what's going on.
Personally, like if you listen to like Game of Thrones podcasts, like a lot of times that they've referenced this before they have announced greenlit this as a show. So there's a good chance if you're like if you go beyond just watching the shows and read and listen to stuff about Game of Thrones, then you probably already know the way this story's going to play out. But I'm here for it, and I think it's going to be time where HBO has the best show on television again. Like usually, it's about that time again.
Yep. Nothing to add, Chad? All right.
Zero.
So with zero to add. Chad's not a TV guy. He's too busy like running raids and getting better gear than us and having better RNG than us as well, apparently. But do remember that if you're watching us on YouTube, you can take us on the road via Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast services. If you are watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. Make sure you click the bell, turn on notifications. We go live every Thursday night. Every once in a while, it'll be a Friday night, depending upon like if real life stuff happens. You know, sometimes we can't help it. But make sure you follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPods, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Discord server. All that stuff is going to be in the details of this podcast. I'm going to let these other two guys sign off.
With Fox being out next week, we probably have some extra time in the show. So if there's any topic that is in Destiny that you would like us to just deep dive into a little bit that we haven't really talked about in a long time, maybe the mod system or how to get mods or how to like anything like raid encounters, dungeon encounters, just like anything like that you just have questions about that you're just not finding answers on the internet, and you want us to like just have a conversation about, just let us know, and me and Chad will probably agree, but attempt to disagree when it comes to whatever we talk about.
We'll sub Ryan in here and there. You know, we'll give our this is Ryan's response. But yeah,
Right.
Definitely.
I'll
you know,
give you a grade in 2 weeks. How you do? What
he
you
does
guys
it every
think my
time.
response will be?
Like I said, we're gonna be going into speculation, and it's gonna be one of the lore segments, like at the end of every season, where there will be I say audience participation, but it's just gonna be Jared. I mean, I am gonna be asking for if he has any ideas for next week and the week after, but it's gonna be a fun time. If you guys have any ideas or any lore pieces or things that you're like, hey, this is why I think this, just throw them at us. Throw them at us on Twitter. Throw them at us in the Discord, and I will either refute it, do nothing, or have to read more about it and maybe see if you got some stuff there. But I can't wait to really dig into that stuff.
Go Cats. Love you.